Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm guessing you are on this video because you're a wedding pro or you're a wedding planner in the making and you're wondering how the heck you can become a wedding planner or how to make your business legit. So welcome. My name is Gabby. I'm a destination wedding planner for adventurous couples, but I'm also a Pinterest marketing strategist. So sometimes I have a Pinterest audience here and sometimes I have a wedding audience here. So know that both industries are going to mesh in this video as well, because we're going to be talking about a little bit of social media marketing when it comes to launching your new wedding business. And obviously I'm going to touch on Pinterest. So if you're interested in either of those, stay tuned. Let's jump in on how I became a wedding planner. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna be a conversation we're gonna have, and I'm also gonna show you some screenshots, hopefully, of maybe some old work that I've done to prove that it's not always, you're not just born into being good at what you're doing, right? I mean, some people in the industry are like incredibly naturally talented, and some of them started with luck. Some of them started with just hard work or a mix of both. So I want to kind of share my journey. This is going to be different for every wedding pro out there. So please, whatever you connect with and that's something you feel like you can implement in your life, in your journey, by all means, work with that. But if this doesn't seem like it connects with you, there are more than one ways to go about getting in the wedding industry. So the first thing I did when I realized I wanted to get into events is that I decided I needed to intern. I needed to be an assistant. I needed to intern because really all I knew about wedding planning was stuff from movies, right? So what I did is I reached out to some wedding planners locally, so nearby, both wedding planners and event planners. And really the difference is wedding planners typically stay with the wedding industry, while event planners could also branch off into corporate events and maybe nonprofit events, social events. There are definitely wedding planners who branch off into different industries as well. So this is not a hard, fast fact, but I wanted to make sure that I tapped into a few different types of industries before I decided that, okay, wedding planning is definitely for me. One of the things I did is I reached out to wedding planners, and not just a cold, granted, yes, it is a cold email or a cold DM, but I brought value to them. I said, hey, here's where I'm at with my journey. Here's what I want to learn, and here's what I can bring to you to help out. Now, at the time, and I'm talking like this was 9-10 years ago, it was not as competitive as it is now. So more than ever, I really believe you need to come prepared in saying, here's what I can add to the value I can add to your business. So bring me on and let me prove to you how amazing I am at my eye for decor or details. You better bet all of the forks will be perfectly aligned, or my customer service is so good, I would love to be greeting and escorting guests to their seats, whatever that is, right? Or maybe you prefer to be behind the scenes in the office and you're really good at vendor calls and connections or logistics of timelines or floor plan. So be clear with what value you can bring, right? Because wedding planners and event planners, and this goes for all seasoned wedding pros, they get inundated with emails that attach a resume, and that's lovely, but help us sift through these emails and figure out right away, ooh, this person claims to be really good at graphic design or floor plan creation. I want to test him or her out with my business. Now, another note with that is make sure you're researching who you're reaching out to, right? Avoid any generic greeting like, hi, sir, or madam. I don't know if people even do that anymore, but to whom it may concern, or hey, cause we can events. Like, our name is written on the website. You can reach out also maybe to my East Coast team, but do your research and also figure out what type of clients do they typically work with. Perhaps you could really add value in your email by saying, we love your adventurous style clients. I own a pair of hiking boots I would love to break in. Ask me to set up a arch in the middle of the desert, no problem. I know how to work a hammer. Like, that's the kind of person that's going to get my attention, right? So do your research and target the people that you feel you have stuff that you can bring to the table. Okay, the next thing you want to consider is writing out your goals. Not only your goals, but your dream day vision is what I call it. So to me, this started out actually when I was working for Lululemon, and simultaneously I was interning for other wedding planners and event planners. I didn't really know what my goal was in wedding planning. Did I want to own my own business? Did I just want to be a really amazing team member in someone else's company? I didn't know yet. So I wanted to like close my eyes, and this, for some of you, this might sound a little out there, but trust me, do it and write it down, and you're going to revisit this paper or this notebook one day, and you're gonna be like, wow, I actually accomplished a lot of these things. So I just closed my eyes and I tried to envision what my perfect day would look like, right? From the moment I wake up to my sip of coffee, to opening the front door, what do I see outside? And then getting ready for work, and then going to work. What does my day look like? Am I a wedding planner who's super busy? Am I a designer? Do I have my hands in florals all day? Do I get to go to rental company meetings and site tours or have coffee with clients? Like, what does that perfect day of your job or day of your career look like? And for some of you, you might want to just work 4 hours a day. Hello, that's totally me. I'm like, I want more time off always. But for some of you, you might love the hustle and you're like, listen, I want to be in my business for 10 hours a day. I love it. I love it. But when I go home, I want to have a glass of wine, take a breather, and I know that everything's under control. So write that down in your notebook. And I would love for some of you to share in the comments below what that looks like for you, because I'm happy to share, with mine and interact with you guys in the comments, or come over to my Instagram and let me know, because to me, this is fascinating. And I've looked back on some of this stuff and I was like, wow, I exceeded some of these expectations. I've maybe undershot some of them, but that's okay. Overall, my dream day is pretty spot on. The next thing I did is really build confidence and education. So to me, they kind of went hand in hand, because in order for me to feel confident in what I was able to do as a wedding planner or event planner, I had to know through education. So both the interning and learning as doing was really important to me. But the other part was attending conferences, online workshops, buying people's courses. I know sometimes we really want to bootstrap our new business, and I'm all for that. I think keep your overhead really low when you're first starting out. But it's really important for you to consider buying something that's going to save you time when learning, right? Because could you Google everything for free? Probably, but you will get a lot of mixed messages. But can you also maybe buy something that is a package, and yeah, it's a write-off at the end of the year if you're starting your business, and then you learn everything in a shorter period of time and all in one place, right? So really important when you're looking at wedding educators, you got to make sure they're vetted, right? Get social proof. So ask around from other wedding pros or educators or event professionals that you know, like, hey, have you heard of this person? Have you heard of their course? Tell me about it, right? Or go into some of the big wedding Facebook groups and ask, hey, has anybody taken this course? I would love your feedback. That's really important. And personally, I've taken a lot of courses. I will link some of my favorite wedding education courses down below. Disclosure, I do get an affiliate commission on some of these. It's no extra cost to you. It's literally just a bonus for me. So super appreciate your support if you do decide to dive into this wedding education. But these are only from people that I personally know, like, and trust, and I can vouch for their courses. So take a look and see if there's anything that fits your fancy. Is that the term? Fits your fancy. We'll go with it. So once you've kind of taken some courses, you've interned, you feel your confidence start to build up, right? Now with that, I think there is a little bit fake it till you make it. I don't love that sentence, but in some way it is true. For example, the very first wedding client I booked, I was at a networking event. It was for women entrepreneurs. And I stood on stage and I introduced myself and I said, "Hi, I'm Gabby. I am a wedding planner." And I had never done a wedding before. I had interned, I had assisted, I had taken courses, but can't tell you that I had done one on my own. But I was confident, I believed in myself, and I felt truly fully equipped in order to put on a wedding. And hey, if I needed to hire an assistant who was more experienced than me on the day, so be it. I would be happy to do that. And lo and behold, a beautiful woman walked up to me and said, "Hey, I'm actually looking for a wedding planner. I love your energy. I would love to connect." And they hired me for a beautiful wedding in Lake Arrowhead. It was my very first one. I did pretty good. I did make a couple mistakes, but nothing that like ruined the day. And boy, did I learn from some of those mistakes. But that is a conversation for another day. I promise I will tell you, I should do a video, my best and most embarrassing wedding mistakes ever. I will do that. All that to say, enter a conversation, enter a networking event, be present on social media and be confident in what you can be as a wedding planner. As long as you truly have taken the time to learn from other people, from courses, from interning, from assisting, but never be afraid to ask questions, right? Don't think you have it all figured out, because I am 10 years in, and let me tell you, every day I am like, well, that's a doozy. How am I going to figure that out? And here's the cool thing, I would say over the last 6+ years, the wedding industry online is so inclusive. I will, like, in the sense that they are super supportive, collaborative. It is a huge community. You will still find people who struggle with sharing information, and that's okay. You don't need to hang out with them. But for the most part, if you go into these Facebook groups where there are wedding pros hanging out and you have a question, expect a lot of amazing feedback and comments, right? So don't be afraid to continue to learn, continue to grow, and continue to ask questions. You're never, ever done learning. Let's talk social media, right? So let's say you are educated in the wedding industry. You've taken classes, you've bought books, you've intern assisted, you've been doing it for maybe a couple years. And now you're like, I know I want to start my own business. How do I launch myself online, right? How do I get a presence online? I'm not going to lie to you. It is a lot more challenging. It's a lot more competitive, what I should say, than it was 10 years ago when I came into the industry. So that being said, I still really think everybody can stand out very well if done properly, authentically, although, I hate using that word because what does it mean really? But like truly being yourself, right? So something that I really highly recommend is a website. I know people want to jump in on Instagram right away, and hey, if you can do both simultaneously, great. But having a website, not only are you going to have an online presence where people can jump right away and share that website with everybody and say, yep, here's her stuff and here's her portfolio, but also you're now showing up on Google. That is super important, right? You need to have some SEO presence, and I will not dive into wedding SEO right now, but that is something we can talk about another day. I talk about this with Pinterest all the time, but make sure that you're not putting all your marketing eggs in one basket, right? So a lot of people do only share their content on Instagram, and I think that's really doing them a disservice. They might have a strong presence on Instagram, and yes, we still book a lot of clients on Instagram, but my blog posts are popping up in Google searches. I'm on Pinterest heavily, as you know. So it's important to at least have a website presence in case all these social media platforms disappear one day. Or what if it only ever is a pay to play platform, right? If Instagram decides you have to pay to even be on the platform, who knows what could happen in a few years, but the website will always be yours. So get a beautiful website up. I've changed my website so many times as I've evolved as a wedding planning company and a brand over the years. So don't feel like your website right now has to be it forever, okay? Just get it started, bootstrap it, buy a template if you need to. Don't worry about it. Instagram is of course going to be the next thing I recommend. Having a presence on Instagram and really trying to target your ideal client. Figuring out first who that is really important. And by the way, I have a little spreadsheet for my Pinterest side of the business that has a worksheet here that helps you figure out who your ideal client is, and it helps you come up with some keywords for that ideal client. What could you use as a hashtag on Instagram, and what could you use as a keyword on Pinterest that would really help you target your ideal client? So grab that below before you forget. But back to Instagram, it is important to have a presence on there. It is a hard platform to start growing unless you are actively doing reels. You are showing up, your face is showing up. Tell us who you are and like, what kind of person are you planning weddings or being a florist or being a wedding photographer? Like, we want to know how it is working with you. What do you specialize in? What do you love to do in your spare time, right? So be very much yourself on your social media platform. The last kind of social media presence that I would love for you to have, if you can guess, it's Pinterest. I would love for you guys to have a Pinterest account, not only because it's another free platform that is a search engine so people can find you. 40 million people plan their wedding by using Pinterest per year. So if you're not on there, it is a huge missed opportunity. And absolutely, you can bring your content over from Instagram and use it on Pinterest as long as you switch up those captions and those keywords. But you've got to have a presence on there. So if that resonates with you and you're like, okay, I do understand that I need to be on Pinterest, that is a huge wedding market, make sure you're subscribing to me and turn the little notification bell on, because I put out a video every Monday that is relevant to either Pinterest or wedding business related. So both of them always go hand in hand, and you can scroll through all of my past videos. There's lots of stuff there to help you get started on Pinterest. And then the last thing is really start, in general, start sharing your work and start sharing to your closest network of people that you are a wedding planner. You are open for business. You will take on weddings, and don't be afraid at first to take on weddings that you feel, or events that are maybe less than ideal, but you will learn a ton from them, right? So sometimes I was like, oh, I took on a birthday party and like, that is not what I am good at, but I'm glad I did it. I actually learned some tips and tricks about parties that I could transfer over to weddings. It's worth a shot, right? So I did nonprofits, I did corporate, I did weddings, I did social, like do it all and figure out what you love and what you're really good at, and also what you don't love and what you're not good at. And so you can slowly eliminate that, and that will help you create your ideal brand, your ideal client type of avatar. So with that, I would love to hear your stories. I would love to hear your questions about getting started as a wedding planner, or please comment below and tell me about your dream career. Like, how can we help you get started with this? I am also going to be linking some of my favorite Facebook groups in the description, my favorite education courses for wedding pros, and links to any of my Pinterest content that I feel like might help you with this video. So with that, thank you so much for joining. I hope you learned a lot, took some notes, and I will see you next week.